Night 2 of the weekend set between Miami and Omaha about to begin. The RedHawks suffering a 4-1 loss yesterday as Miami dropped to 0-11 in the NCHC. We'll see a fresh look for the RedHawks in net as well as for their opponents in Omaha on the other side. Should be plenty of fun as we get this series wrapped up here on Saturday night. Luke West-Poley, Jeff Middleton with you as always. Jeff, was mentioned a couple times in the postgame by both Casper Nassen and Anthony Noreen. Felt like the effort was good in streaks yesterday for Miami, but a couple of major mistakes really cost the RedHawks, and still not quite a full 60-minute effort that they were looking for.
Yeah, and I think that kind of the main focus was their second period. Their second period was easily their best of the night last night, generated a lot of chances from the slot, but once again, as we talked about last night, a lot of those chances from the slot ended up missing the net. So about tonight, it's all about getting shots on net against Kevin Riedler, who was backing up for Simon Latkozy last night in the starter's crease tonight for the Mavericks. Last night, Miami scored the first goal of the game and then gave up 4 straight to Omaha, so looking to kind of continue what they did in the first period yesterday as well as in the second.
We'll toss things off to public address for the national anthem. Be back with Puck Drop in just a moment. All set to begin between Miami and Omaha here on night 2 of the series, and alluded to it a moment ago, but we'll see a new goaltending matchup here tonight as Omaha will go with the freshman Swede Kevin Riedler in net tonight. He makes just his second start of NCHC play, 5th appearance overall. He's come off the bench once previously this season. The freshman has a 2-1 record with a 2.41 goals against average and a .926 percentage. Back to a normal left-handed catcher for Omaha in the net tonight. For Miami, they go with the RPI transfer. Brett Miller spent the bulk of his time over the course of his career as a backup, making just his 11th career start in his 5th season of college hockey. Second as a RedHawk this year. He's got an 0-1 record, 3.38 goals against average, and an .889 save percentage. Same refereeing crew as last night. Jake Jackson, Justin Hills, the referees. Troy Merritt and Logan Belgraf are the linesmen this evening. Omaha with the same uniform combo with the black uniforms all the way top to bottom. Matte helmets with the Omaha 3D sticker on the side. For Miami, the alternate uniforms with the Miami text and red numbers on the front. Red pants and white socks with some red stripes along the side. And interestingly enough, red helmets for the RedHawks this evening.
I like the look.
Been watching Miami hockey here pretty much my whole life, and I can't think of a time off the top of my head where they've worn red helmets at home. We'll have to check on that officially as soon as we can. Puck is dropped. We are underway here from Oxford as the RedHawks take the opening draw. It is Shipani, Waldron, and Dukovac out there to begin the game for Anthony Noreen's club. Puck taken by Omaha and floated over top the Miami net where Brett Miller shrugs it off as it flies off the end glass. RedHawks break it out, and stick handling across the center red line. Johnny Waldron will shovel it into the offensive zone for Miami. RedHawk defense goes for a partial change as the puck is broken out on the far side by Omaha. Now back to the near wing. Bremer enters the Miami zone and tried to tuck one through the slot area that got deflected back towards the near wall. Lob wedged back out to center by the RedHawks, where it'll be circled forward by Jacob Gavin, navigating through center ice. Tries to backhand one towards the near side. That was kicked away by Connor Hutchison. And now John Emmons will head forward with it for Miami. Entering the Omaha zone, he heads to the corner, throws one out in front. He missed Raymond Vitalins, who was driving the net front. And Omaha with plenty of coverage in the high slot to take it away. John Emmons was a guy that was highlighted by Anthony Noreen last night in the postgame press conference as maybe being Miami's best forward yesterday. A guy that's seen limited time in his freshman season, but really had an excellent day, tied for the team lead in shots last night. RedHawks enter the zone down the left wing. Theodore Forsander tried to force one through. That got blocked away from the intended target in front of the net. And back out to neutral ice it'll go, where Casper Nasson will feed it to the far side. Kicked into the zone by Nick Donato. Puck wraps around to the near wall, where Richard Simonovic will save the zone on the left point. Colby Ambrosio now in the far corner. Up top, Donato sends a shot through. It was tipped. Save made by Radler with the pad. Rebound came sharply back out to the point, where again Donato held it in. RedHawks still with it. Puck batted out of the air. Waist tie by Sullivan. Ambrosio now with space to work on the far wing. Tried to feed it to the near side. And on the point, Dylan Moulton had that puck tipped and could not keep the zone. The RedHawks will have to regroup. Pass down the near side is tipped in the Omaha end by Ambrosio as the RedHawks go for a partial change. Moulton sprawls at the left point to knock the puck down and keep it in. Omaha again tries to clear, and this time it'll squirt between the legs of Christoph Filion, and the RedHawks will pull it out of the zone. Messenberg down the right side with the entry. Once again, he's walled off about 5 feet into the zone. Soft wrister sent in from the right point by Dylan Moulton, and that is knocked down with a catcher glove by Kevin Radler. Now down the left wing, exiting the zone goes Brady Risk, and he will dump it into the Miami end, where Spencer Cox applies a pin down on the puck in the corner. Eventually it pops free out to the front of the net, where Christoph Filion can race it forward for Miami and out of the zone. He takes a tumble out at center ice along with Garrett Pinanimi, who was tarped all over him. Omaha ends up with it, and they will fire it into the Miami end. Spencer Cox coughed it up in front of his own net. Miller has to swat that one away with his paddle, as he was not even really in his net, kind of shifting around outside the crease when Cox threw that lazily in front of his cage. RedHawks go unpunished for it, now head on to the attack. It's Max Dukovac, who will find Johnny Waldron working through the slot, dangling through. He lost possession. Now Dukovac still with it, tried to hand it off for Waldron at the left dot, but it was poked away and picked up by Omaha's Jacob Slipik, as the Mavericks now clear it into the Miami end and finish up the change. Action-packed first 3.5 minutes here in this one, but no score between Miami and Omaha in Game 2 of the series. John Emmons will backhand tap it into the far corner of the offensive zone for Miami, and the RedHawks will go to work on the forecheck. Theodore Forsander banks it off the end wall back to the far side of the ice, where it's squibbed wide by Nick Donato. Shot intentionally wide from the left point. John Emmons has it below the goal line. Out in front, he found Vitalins between the hashes with a one-timer that was sticked away by Kevin Radler. And the puck trickles back out to neutral ice, where the RedHawks will pull it back. Donato down the far side, plays it forward for Forsander. He'll tip it into the Omaha end. Full 5-man change for Miami. 15:43 to go first period, and still zeros on the scoreboard. Gavin stick handles his way into the offensive zone, but lost control. A spin around to keep it in for the moment by Omaha, but now Nasson with a break the other way. Heading in one-on-one, he fires, and a blocker save made by Riedler, who punches that to the near wall. Back out to center ice. Erdahl working with it. It flew too far in front of him, and the RedHawks will poke it back to his defense. Mavericks will clear it into the Miami end, where Brett Miller comes out to play it for the RedHawks. Dylan Moulton now with it behind the RedHawk net. Up the near wall, Colby Ambrosio will play it rink wide for Ryan Sullivan. A soft chip into the offensive zone as the RedHawks go for another line change. Casper Nasson delivers a shove in on the forecheck to Jacob Gavin. Wins the RedHawks possession for a moment. But now Erdahl will steal it back for the Mavericks and reverse ice to the near wing, where Gavin has it in the corner. He will knock it off the wall, back out to center. Christoph Filion waiting for Blake Messenberg to vacate the zone. He does, and now Filion enters. He loses possession of the puck, but able to poke it below the goal line where Caragiello was waiting. Back up to the point it goes, left side. Hutchison throws it out in front. Messenberg got a tip. It was blocked twice in front, still prodding away at it. Puck is just sitting between the hashes, and finally it bounces out to the right point where it's chopped back in by Connor Hutchison. Wrapped around to the near wing. LaPinta gets bumped for Omaha, but one stick handle's enough to get it out of the zone. He loses possession of the puck, and the RedHawks rip it right back in. 14-14 to go first period. Shots on goal 4-0 in favor of the RedHawks. No one's found the back of the net yet. Down the left side goes Max Dukovac for Miami. He will shove it into the offensive zone, and now Gratton back to pick it up below his own goal line. Short pass, Krenzen will loft it along the glass where it's ticked further by LaPinta. Back to Richard Simonovic, who will fire it back in for Miami. And again, wrapped up the near wall, LaPinta will now play it centrally where Israel swings through and will complete the breakout. Down to the far side, Brady Risk got popped on his dump-in attempt. He does so successfully, but paid the price. RedHawks tried to advance it up the ice quickly, but it went through the legs of Matt Chapani, and now Miami will finish up their change with 13:30 to go now in the first period. Back and forth we go, and not a whole lot of stoppage going on right now as Krenzen has it from the right point, and he couldn't hold it in, and there is a whistle, and that will bring us to a stoppage finally with 13:21 to go in the first period. No score, Miami out shooting Omaha 4-0 after an energetic opening sequence.
Yeah, really exciting back and forth here. Lots of dominance from Miami, and once again we see it on this draw here. This fourth line by Miami, Coach Anthony Noreen, you talked about him highlighting John Emmons, but also highlighted that fourth line is probably deserving more ice time than what they got last night, and you can see why. They have been easily the best line for Miami through these two games, as there's a shot by Spencer Cox on net.
Snapped out of the air by Radler, and John Emmons, as he was yesterday, toes on the edge of the blue paint.
Exactly.
Couple shoves, and that will bring us to an offensive zone face-off for Miami. So two face-offs in the span of about 12 seconds of game time after that last whistle, by the way, was the first one of the game.
Yes.
Took over 6.5 minutes to get there.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting how well this line's working together. I mean, Theodore Forsander, really crafty, silky, young Swede forward, but not the biggest guy, while Raymond Vitalins is, the older of these two. John Emmons, also a freshman. So putting an older player in between two freshman wingers, but they have been fantastic so far for Anthony Noreen.
Emmons behind the net with it for Miami. Finds Forsander near corner. Now back for Emmons below the goal line. Check that. That's Vitalins, rather. Emmons is out front, and Vitalins trying to play it back to Spencer Cox on the right point, but the two weren't on the same page. It'll go all the way down to the Miami end where Brett Miller will play it. Forsander on the near wing. Plays it down the middle of the ice where Spencer Cox is swinging. He'll take it into the offensive zone. Drag and shoot. And just fanned on the shot partially. It ends up way wide all the way in the corner. And Omaha will pick it up and bring it through the neutral zone. Nice between the legs drag there by Noah Ellis. The Vegas Golden Knights draft choice will play it into the offensive end. But the RedHawks will take it away and now head forward. Colby Ambrosio, one-on-one, dances through the middle, chips it across, and he lost control as he headed through the slot as the puck flew to the far side. And now, again, it's stuck along the end wall. Michael Quinn with it in the far corner of the offensive zone for Miami. He gets punched off the puck by Nolan Krenzen. Those two doing a little bit of hand fighting right now as the play has gone away. Back up the far wall, the puck goes, and it is directed just enough by Tyler Rollwagon to get it out of the zone, force the RedHawks to regroup, and now a shot sent through immediately off the re-entry by Colby Ambrosio is gloved. Radler makes the save, his 6th of the game, and that brings us to a immediate timeout. 11:50 to go, first period. It's been a lot of RedHawk hockey so far, looking to find the back of the net for the first time when we come back as we're scoreless. Stay tuned, you're listening to Miami Hockey on RedHawk Radio. 11:50 remaining, first period, and Miami and Omaha knotted up at zeros, but 6-0 the shots advantage in favor of the RedHawks. Wasn't all Omaha yesterday, Jeff, but one area that was certainly a strength for the Mavericks was their start. It's been completely different tonight.
Yeah, and these RedHawks look really good, not just breaking out, and another thing that Coach Anthony Noreen talked about yesterday in the post-game press conference was how well they broke the puck out of their defensive zone. But also I think the cycle's been really good so far. I mean, lots of winning loose puck battles. These guys have been moving their feet, and in the second period yesterday we saw much of the same. They were the first to lose pucks. They were winning the battles in the corners and generating offense from there.
Face-off on the near side of the offensive zone for Miami, won by the RedHawks, and Kasper Nassen powers his way up to the left point where he will swing it back down low for Ryan Sullivan. Trying to dig it free off the end boards. He cannot do so. Instead, he'll just poke it free for Colby Ambrosio.
Ooh.
Works his way out front with a nifty move and nearly found Nassen. Pass a little behind him, though, and he could not get a clean shot off. Ambrosio working there against Jacob Gavin in the corner, and the puck just jammed between their two sticks, popped in the air, and hit the protective netting. So the faceoff will stay in the zone, and we get a pause with 11:25 remaining in the first period.
When guys at this level fall down like Jacob Gavin just did after that nice move from Colby Ambrosio, that's a rare sight. But yeah, Ambrosio trying to power his way to the front of the net and flipped the puck over the stick of Gavin and just made a nifty move. Tried to find Nassen, but ended up in his skates. But a great play nonetheless.
Face-off this time controlled by the Mavericks and sent 5 feet high off the far wall, all the way down the ice, but short of icing, where now Zane Dempsey cannot pull the puck out of his skates, and he turns it over in the Miami end. Krenzen with it now on the right point. Points a point for Gratton on the left side. Wrists one through traffic. That one hit a RedHawk in front. That's Nick Donato, who's visibly shaken as puck careened back out to neutral ice, where Omaha bangs it right back in. Mavericks in the offensive zone haven't been there a ton so far tonight. They were there plenty yesterday, and the RedHawks do steal it and break it out. Raymond Vitalins cuts it across the offensive zone. Top of the right circle, he tried to swerve. He blew a tire and lost it, but kept the stick on his puck for long enough with it on his backside to keep it away from LaPinta. Finally, upon regaining his footing, it was stolen away and sent into the Omaha bench. And so we get another whistle. 10:38 remaining in the first period. Still looking for the game's first goal. Where will the face-off be? It'll be in the offensive zone for Miami on the far side of the ice.
Yeah, great skill play from Raymond Vitalins there. It looked like Omaha was getting ready for a 2-on-2 rush, maybe even an odd man 3-on-2 rush, but Raymond Vitalins on his back pretty much, keeping the stick on that puck to try and keep it in the offensive zone and maintain possession, which he did for just a moment, but a great play.
RedHawks had controlled the face-off, but now a puck battle ensues on the near side. It flies free and ends up on the stick of Frankie Caragiello, who tries to reverse behind the net, but he's got a Maverick behind him too, and Omaha will steal it away. Down the left wing goes Charlie Lurie, who will chip it into the offensive zone for the Mavericks. And now it's Ludke from the far half wall who will handle. Spencer Cox on him, and he gets rid of it and finds Lurie. There's a stick loose on the ice, and the Mavericks end up with the puck below the goal line. Slipik back to the near wall. A shot sent in from the right dot by Isaiah Norland is gloved by Miller. That shot was tracking wide, it appeared, but Miller grabbed it anyway and will hold on. 2 seconds past the halfway mark of the first. Offensive zone face-off coming up after what I believe was called, at least based off the scoreboard, Omaha's first shot of the game.
Yeah, not sure if it would have went in. Looked like it was going wide from our vantage point, but nonetheless, the Mavericks get their first shot on goal. Christoph Filion with a little shot to Jacob Slipik after the play is over. Filion, a man who's not afraid of getting into it with the other team. We've
Certainly
seen that
not.
quite a time or two from up here.
Face-off win by the Mavericks in the offensive zone. Puck ends up on Griffin Ludke's stick. Now back for Norland on the near wing, and Bremer's stick failed him as he went for a one-timer from the center point. He'll have to head back to the bench as Norland ends up with it on the right point for Omaha. He will work it down low where Michael Quinn taps it along the wall, and the RedHawks do break out. Puck ping-ponged back and forth across the blue line a couple of times and ended up as an offside as Miami just barely got it out of the zone, and Omaha touched up.
I think Bremer went and got the wrong stick from the guy on the bench. It looked like he wasn't going to go back all the way to the Omaha equipment manager. I can't see who it was. It might have been, I believe it was Chase LaPinta. Gave him his all-white stick and then went to the bench and got his actual stick that he was going to get before LaPinta gave him his. What a gesture.
Both are right-handed shots,
yes,
so there's a worse stick to get. But Brock Bremer much shorter at 5'6" than the. I guess then LaPinta just a couple inches on him. Two of the smaller guys on the roster. Nonetheless, Miami with it in the neutral zone right now. It's Max Dukovac stopping his feet and handing off for Johnny Waldron. Trying to twist it. He finds Dukovac high slot on the near side of the ice. Dukovac will now push it to the far side and reverse it down the wall nicely. He's got some room. Dukovac forced to the corner. Will give it up right point for Riart Simonovic. Working down the wall, Simonovic tucks one in front. No RedHawks were there, and it slides all the way to the near boards. We're now a break up the ice and a possible 2-on-1 for Omaha. Back check, though, by Simonovic. Turns it into a 2-on-2. Nobody there for the Mavericks, and they'll just pull it off. Try to settle to keep possession in the zone, but the back pass to hit the trailer in Krenzen, I believe. Krenzen was late, and the puck escaped the zone. It was offside.
And what a play from Simonovic there. Fantastic back check from a defenseman, obviously pinching in on that play on the far wall, I should say, and ended up coming from all the way behind the net back to play defense, preventing a 2-on-1 rush.
Puck caroms in front of the net there for Miami, but a bunch of sticks were lifted. Fortunately for the RedHawks, and Ryan Sullivan can pick up the loose puck and skate it all the way into the Maverick end. Puck lifted along the dasher boards where Krenzen picks it up. Tried to hit it high off the glass and shot it straight up in the air. Colby Ambrosio comes down with it on the far boards. That puck did not get anywhere close to getting out. So instead, it's still Miami possession in the offensive zone. And now for the left point, Dylan Moulton has it. Down the wall, Ryan Sullivan, the RedHawk captain, will reverse. He loses his footing, but still gets it down low for Colby Ambrosio. Spinning to the far corner, Ambrosio climbs up the wall, dishes it back down low for Sullivan, trying to tap it further for Kasper Nassen, but Omaha stole it. Now a takeaway by the RedHawks, and Moulton with a shot in. Save made with the chest by Radler. On the far wall, Spencer Cox finds Colby Ambrosio, kicks it to his stick. Now Cox again from the right side. Will drag and shoot. That got blocked out in front, but the RedHawks still with it. John Emmons tucks it down the wall. Colby Ambrosio behind the net. Finds Emmons. He scores.
Holy moly.
Well, Ambrosio acted as if he would go the other way around the net. Fed it behind his back. No look to John Emmons, who had the whole net to shoot at. And that is the first career goal for the freshman out of Washington, Michigan. And it puts Miami in front 1-0 with 7:23 to go in the first.
Goodness me, fantastic cycle by the second line of these RedHawks. Ambrosio, Sullivan, and Nassen get in on the forecheck. They win a puck battle. They start creating offense, and then the forwards go one by one for a change and bring on Forssender, Vitalins, and Emmons. Fantastic play from Ambrosio, who was the last forward out there for that second line. Great feed to Emmons in front as well. And there's a shot by Vitalins quickly as well. But boy, what a first goal. And what a first goal for Emmons, who has certainly deserved it this weekend.
Yeah, certainly. Was going to say, there are guys often, especially it's felt like on this Miami team, where it's felt like they've been due for a goal in any given weekend based off the way they've played. And a lot of times that goal has not come. Fortunately for John Emmons on this weekend, certainly his best in his young career, the goal has come, and Miami leads it 1-0. As Jeff mentioned, a quick shot from Raymond Vitalins after a bit of a sloppy turnover by Omaha. Gives the RedHawks an offensive zone faceoff. They win it, and Hutchison risks one wide just over the left pad of Radler, looking for a potential tip in front. Again, this fourth line works on the forecheck and wins possession back, but the RedHawks can't hold the zone as Hutchison had the puck get a few inches by him on the left point. RedHawks get it back into the offensive zone, and down the right side, it's tapped up the wall by Michael Quinn. But plenty of Mavericks waiting on it, and played beyond the center red line where Harrison Israels will tip it into the offensive zone for the Mavericks. Omaha goes for a change. RedHawks get it up the ice quick, and now Fillion will leave it off for Michael Quinn. Space down the left side, tried to pass it up to the high slot in the trailer in Messenberg, but he fanned on the attempt, and that allows Slipik to skate it to the offensive blue line for Omaha and dump it into the offensive zone. RedHawks break it out quick. Another clean one there by the RedHawks as Christoph Fillion takes the feed and will skate it in. Chipping it up against the end boards, RedHawks will look to forecheck. Wrapped around the far side, Miami seals the wall, courtesy of Nick Donato. Good to see him back out there after he blocked a shot earlier in the period. RedHawks with a steal, and Dukovac from the bottom of the right circle lost control of his possession, but Omaha cannot clear. Semenovic walks the line, finds Donato on the far side, shot through traffic, trickles just wide of the left post. RedHawks still with it, as Messenberg on the far wall gave it away, and Omaha will clear. Riyard Semenovic will double back on it for Miami. Now Shapani tearing down the left side, enters the zone, muscling, trying to tuck his way in front. What was given no real estate, well defended by Gratton, who forced him back below the goal line. Shots 10-2 in favor of Miami, 1-0 is the RedHawk lead with 5:23 to go in the first period. Dukovac takes a long diagonal pass down the left side, dumps it in, threw it off the official. That ends up in the corner where Dylan Moulton, oddly enough, is the one to get on it for Miami. He finds Waldron on the far side, spinning his way to the net front. It's poked away finally after Waldron got a lot of room down the middle of the ice. And now Omaha again will get it back out to the neutral zone. Couldn't hold on to possession for a moment, but now skated into the Miami end by Noah Ellis, who gets bumped off the puck. Colby Ambrosio taking it ahead. He finds Johnny Waldron, who will spin around with it. Waldron top of the right circle, sauces one in front, looking for a tip. None came, and the puck ended up wide. Ambrosio below the goal line. Looked like he got his stick stuck in the boards maybe and just fell over in slow motion. That'll allow Omaha again to bring it back out to center. Hutchison down the far side gets just enough to cross the red and dump it back in. Omaha tries to force it down the near wing, and Bremer will successfully complete the clearance. Michael Quinn now turns it over below his own goal line, and Hutchison trying to hound Erdahl, but he keeps possession for the Mavericks. Gavin from the near point, dragging, shooting, save made by Miller, who was screened by a couple of his teammates in front. Now down the left side, Omaha again cannot hold the zone as Kramer had that hop his stick, it looked like, on the left point, and he clears that back in, I believe offside. Puck might have also flown out of play, it looks like, and so that'll bring a neutral zone face-off when we come back. 4:06 to go, first period. We've been talking about him all weekend. John Emmons gets his first career goal, and Miami leads Omaha now 1-0. We're back to Cady Arena after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .406 remains opening period. It's Miami 1, Omaha nothing, as the RedHawks are out shooting the Mavericks 10-3. And it's the line that Anthony Noreen has loved this weekend, the fourth line that's back out there. Forsander, Vitsalins, and Emmons to take the neutral zone draw on the far side of the ice. Emmons with the goal for Miami. Cisco to Ambrosio and Cox for the RedHawks. It's Emmons' first career goal after he had a phenomenal game yesterday, and continuing with a great first period, not just in the goal, but in other ways as well here tonight. RedHawks control off the draw, and it's Emmons kicking it forward into the offensive zone, although he's tacked along the wall by Kramer and can't keep possession of it. Omaha will navigate it through some traffic down the far side where Kramer plays it ahead, and now a step down the left side, driving towards the net front for Harrison Israels. It was poked away from him at the last second before he could swipe that on net. Wrister now for the right point through traffic by LaPinta, blockered away by Brett Miller. Back below the goal line, it's sent to the bottom of the circle. Israels fanned on the shot. In the far corner, played back to the high slot. It's tipped through. Gavin from the point shot through, tipped again by Israels, and that ends up wide. Best shift of the game so far for the Mavericks is Israel. Kind of got bear hugged there by Middleton RedHawks. Looked like they definitely got away with one there as Spencer Cox will take it across the center red line and clear as far as Omaha's blue, which will allow the RedHawks to get fresh bodies on the ice. Under 3 minutes to play, first period. 1-0 Miami leads over Omaha in the second game of 2. Pass up the far wall through center ice. Tipped up in the air by Frankie Caragiollo into the Miami bench as Anthony Noreen ducks out of the way. And that will bring a center ice draw with 2:50 to play in the first.
And I think that shift exemplifies just how good, one, this Mavericks team is, but also just how quickly things can change in this game. I mean, Miami has controlled the puck for most of this period, but all of a sudden one shift and you get two decent chances, and it's 3 shots on goal in that shift, or 2 shots on goal in that shift for the Mavericks, and they were both high quality. So just got to try and keep those feet moving and win the puck battles like you were earlier.
Neutral zone face-off won by the Mavericks, and taking down the left side, Griffin Lentke will dump it into the Miami end. On the NCHC logo behind the goal cage, it's Connor Hutchison for Miami that dangles it across his defensive zone. He will tip it off the glass, short of the center red, and all the way down the ice for icing with 2:23 to go in the first period. Face-off comes back down to the Miami end. Omaha will take it on the right wing side. Icings were a frequent occurrence yesterday. This has been a polar opposite game. It was pretty slow yesterday, a lot of choppiness, a lot of whistles, and this has not been like that at all.
The notoriously strict linesman of the NCHC calling that one an icing.
No Eric Frank this weekend.
No, no fan favorites really this weekend, unfortunately. Although with no students in town, it might be okay.
Yes, this is a strategic move by the league office while the students were out.
They knew what to do.
Norland taking it down the right side for Omaha. He's got a step, plays it out in front. It popped up in the air off the paddle of Miller, and he snatches it up. Couple swings at it for Bremer, trying to knock that out of the air. It looked like that pass in front. Miller dove after it and tried to just whack it anywhere but the net front. Ended up hitting his stick and just jumping straight up in the air, where it was kind of free game. There were a couple players for each team in front of the net. Fortunately for Miami, it was Miller who actually got something on it first. He got it with his glove and held on. So we get an offensive zone face-off on the other side for Omaha. And it will be won by the RedHawks. And Miami will take it down the near side. Max Dukovac skates it out of the zone, diagonally crosses the center M and hands off for Nick Donato. Entering the Omaha end, he will chip it up against the end wall and wrap it up to the near point for Simonovic. Shot through traffic, tipped twice and blocked down in front with the stick of Nolan Krenzen. Deflects back out to center, where Simonovic will put it right back into the Omaha end. Under 100 seconds to play in the first. 1-0 Miami off the first career goal by John Emmons, the freshman from Washington, Michigan. Bremer down the right side. Now a 2-on-1 developing for Omaha. Plays it across the way, and Gratton shot it wide. Penalty coming up here on the RedHawks. Johnny Waldron touches it up. It is a slashing call, it appears, against Colby Ambrosio. Yeah, and that will send Omaha to the game's first power play.
Believe he got him when he was on the back check. Obviously a 2-on-1 rush for Omaha.
Anthony Noreen is furious on the Miami bench.
I'm curious to see once we get this replay going, see if we'll be able to see just how, if it was a light tap or if it was he got him on the hands. I mean, they're probably going to call that most of the time. And he didn't really do much to make it look like it was a light tap. He kind of just came down on his hands, and yeah, like I said, they're going to call that most of the time. And now, big power play for Omaha.
Mavericks scored quickly on their first power play of the night yesterday, and they get a quick pass in front that kind of rainbowed in the air and was chipped at by Rollwagon. Ended up high of the net. So Ambrosio 2 minutes for slashing down the left side. Shot sent through, glove by Miller, but the rebound, they score. It was Ludke who wristed one in. It hit Miller straight in the trapper, but he couldn't hold on to it. Puck fell right down in the crease and was banged in by the Mavericks. And Brock Bremer will get the goal with 59.9 to go. And again, a frustrating goal at the end of a period if you're Miami after you played a pretty dominant first. Barring any more happening in this final minute, you'll have to be content going in to the intermission tied.
Yeah, and like you said, Luke, it's frustrating. 59.9 on the clock, and Brock Bremer, who we mentioned yesterday, kind of always finds a way to score against Miami. Puts home a rebound on the power play, and frankly, just a penalty and an odd man rush to begin that. That just can't happen this late in the period, and now this game is tied because of it.
Goal to Bremer, assist to Ludke and Lurie at 19:01. Along the near wall, there was a puck battle and a whistle. Looks like it got stuck there in the gear of Raymond Vitalins as he pulls the puck out and hands it off to linesman Troy Merritt. So 36.4 seconds remain. Miami's going to make a line change here and prep for this neutralized face-off on the near wing. 1-1 hockey game. Goals by Bremer and Emmons.
Omaha.
Puck is played up the far side.
Omaha's caught up on shots, too.
They have. It's now 10-9 in favor of the RedHawks. In the defensive zone, played up the near wall, tipped into the Omaha end by Johnny Waldron. Mavericks, though, quickly get it back out. Now maybe a 3-on-2 developing. Erdal skates it down the near side, but well defended by Zane Dempsey, who pokes it to the near corner. RedHawks trying to kill the period with 6 seconds left in it. Mavericks trying to pull the puck free for a final shot, and they do. Center point shot in by Gratton. They score with 0.5 left on the clock. Gratton pinches down. Mavericks win a puck battle, and they'll jump in front 2-1.
I mean, wow. What a turn of events. I mean, once again, this is how quickly teams like Omaha and teams in every single teams in this conference, I should say, every single team in this conference can turn a game around. I mean, you're trying to kill off the rest of the time of the period, and it's below the goal line, and a quick feed out in front. No one has Gratton, and he's just sitting in the slot. And instead of a 1-0 game, it's 2-1, and the shots are tied, and you controlled the game for. You controlled the period for 15 minutes, and now it's all in Omaha's hands.
2 goals in the final minute by the Mavericks, and they take a 2-1 lead after what was really a strong period played by Miami. The shots lead has been completely closed off by Omaha, and the Mavericks now in front 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. Taking a look at the goal scorers of the opening period, it was Miami that scored first. John Emmons, his first career goal, coming at even strength at 12:37. Assists to Ambrosio and Cox. That opened the scoring for Miami after a really, really strong start. RedHawks got to the 10-shot mark pretty quickly.
Yep.
Did not have many shots in the final minutes of that period. Omaha would score both their goals in the final minute. For the second straight night, they would cash in on their first power play of the game, as Brock Bremer's goal on the man advantage, assisted by Griffin Ludke and Charlie Lurie, came with 59.9 seconds left on the clock. That was Bremer's first goal of the season, and it was followed up by Dylan Gratton getting on the board for the Mavericks. Time of the goal listed here, 20 minutes, because there was less than a second left on the clock. Assist to Liam Watkins and Sam Stang off the goal from the Penn State transfer, Dylan Gratton, his second of the year. 2-1 the score in favor of Omaha, and it feels like the same type of period just keeps getting replayed over and over and over again if you're a Miami fan. Fortunately for the RedHawks, they did kind of get punched in the mouth at the end of the first yesterday and had a pretty good answer coming out of the locker.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Groundhog Day, to be honest. It's been, it's frustrating for fans to come in and watch that kind of period develop as it does, and I'm sure it's even more frustrating for the guys in the room to really put in a great 15-minute effort. And only get rewarded with 1 goal. I mean, 10 shots, 1 goal. They had plenty of chances to put the puck in the net, but for one reason or another, they just weren't able to hit twine. But then all of a sudden, the opponent comes down, and Omaha's a very talented team. You know, maybe they're not Denver or North Dakota, but they play fast, they play smart, and they find open men. And Anthony Noreen talked about it yesterday as well. He talked about just how quickly this Omaha team, they only need 1 shot. They only need 1 to kind of change momentum, and, you know, they took 2, and now they're ahead.
So again, after 20 minutes here from Cady Arena, it's Omaha 2 and Miami 1. Jeff and I back for the second period in just a little bit. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Second period about to begin here from Cady Arena. It's Omaha 2 and Miami 1. If you tuned in for the first 19 minutes of period 1, that's probably a very different looking score than you thought. Pretty dominant first 15 put together by the RedHawks and culminated in John Emmons' first career goal after what's been a really strong weekend for the freshman. But the RedHawks give up 2 in the final minute. The first on the power play by Brock Bremer at the 19-minute mark with 59.9 remaining in the period. And then with just half a second left in the period, Miami was trying to kill time by pinning the puck up against the end wall. Didn't run enough time out. Omaha pulled it out, threw it to the high slot. And Dylan Gratton, as the trailer, put it over the shoulder of Brett Miller to score Omaha's second of the period. Shots have been adjusted, and Omaha now leads Miami 11-10. RedHawks led in that department for much of the first, as they did on the scoreboard. Teams switch sides. Miami will make their way from left to right. Omaha will go from right to left. RedHawks in the white uniforms, Omaha in the black uniforms. RedHawks had a strong second period yesterday. You, Jeff, called it the best period the RedHawks played all game. We'll see if that repeats here tonight as the puck is dropped and our second period begins. Omaha pulls it back into their defensive zone. Cross-ice pass finds Rollwagon with a lane down the near side. He will chip it off the wall and head into the Miami end, where Dylan Moulton will wrap the puck around the far side. Puck just sitting in the high slot now, and it's dragged wide by the Mavericks after RedHawks were a little bit slow to break that puck out. Still in the Miami zone now, it's Spencer Cox, who will double back behind his own net and find Johnny Waldron skating it up the near side. Waldron feeds it up ahead for Raymond Vitalins. This is a shuffled line by Anthony Noreen, as Vitalins is up on the top line now with Dukovac and Waldron replacing Matt Schipani. Omaha's played it back into the Miami zone. Michael Quinn will throw it towards the middle of the ice. He missed his target, but still got it out of the zone. Omaha will play it right back in, and Hutchison will leave it for Michael Quinn, who throws it in front of his net. It just slides all the way through the slot, back up to the point, where it will be grabbed and wrapped back deep into the zone by Jacob Gavin. Below the goal line, Michael Quinn. Tap pass for Connor Hutchison. Forward down the far side for Casper Nasson, banking it up the wall. Colby Ambrosio heads into the Omaha end, applying some pressure on Zach Erdahl, trying to take the puck away. Now puck battling with Jacob Gavin. It is Ryan Sullivan. Puck pried free, pulled out by Colby Ambrosio, who will whirl around and head behind the net. Throwing it off the boards, it's Nick Donato pinching down the right side to tap it further behind the cage. Colby Ambrosio bumped the puck free, but got a stick tied up there with Joe Kramer, and that allows Omaha to clear. Now Erdahl racing it down. He gets to the puck first in the far corner of the Miami end and will work it to the near side. Kind of got a stick tied up high with Nick Donato. Mavericks wanted a penalty, did not get one, but they keep possession in the zone as Israel's trying to dance his way out in front. He got dumped over by the much larger Casper Nasson. Puck back out at center ice where Frankie Carajoyello will throw it up ahead, and now heading down the left side. Slap shot in by Filion from the top of the circle is handled by Radler, who will hold on.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start for Miami, not really moving their feet as fast as they were early in the first, but good shot by Christoph Filion, looking to try and generate something off the cycle here off this offensive zone faceoff.
17:44 to go in the second period. We went over 6.5 minutes in the first without a whistle, so a bit of a slower start by Miami, just a slower start overall as well. Offensive zone draw coming for the RedHawk third line, and Blake Messenberg, one of the RedHawks' top faceoff men, wins it. Center point shot, though, from Spencer Cox, deflected wide, and now a power move down to out of the corner to the front of the net by Messenberg, and he got stoned on the far post, and now Omaha will take it forward. Ludke tried to chip that ahead, looking for LaPinta, but the RedHawks intercept, and Filion will lug it back out to center, where Israel strips him of possession. Back at neutral ice, Israel's was curling into the zone where nobody was to get back to his position, but Omaha tried to dump it in and threw it off him. That's offside. And we will have a neutral zone face-off. 2:42 gone by second period. Omaha 2 and Miami 1. Bremer and Grattan, the goal scorers for the Mavericks. Those coming after the goal by John Emmons. Freshman out of Washington, Michigan with his first career tally on the scoreboard. He takes the draw right now. Washington, Michigan, an area that Red Hawk fans might know well. It's where one of the best Red Hawks ever is from, in Austin Czarnik.
Oh, yeah.
Czarnik playing his first full season overseas after a lengthy NHL and AHL career, having a pretty good season this year. He's the leading scorer, I believe, in Switzerland. Have to look that up in a moment. For now, it's Slipik into the offensive zone for Omaha. Plays it down for a sharp angle shot that's hit into the mask of Brett Miller from Dylan Grattan. And the Redhawks will clear it away. Up the far wall it goes, and it's Lurie in the corner for Omaha, trying to reverse that away from Michael Quinn, but the freshman pulls that away from him. And Theodore Forsander will spin it back out to the neutral zone. Tapped back down for the Redhawks at center ice by Connor Hutchison, who crosses the red and dumps it in. Matt Chapani 1-on-2 at the forecheck. He lost his glove, it appears, or rather that belongs to a Maverick. It is Norlin who's looks like favoring that hand a little bit as a huge hit applied on the near side on Nick Donato with the puck.
He's
kind of jammed up on center. And yeah, Donato blocked a shot earlier, shaken up again after that big hit, but does get back to his feet and retake his post, although he will head off the ice a little early to close out his shift, and Spencer Cox takes his spot. Meanwhile, puck into the offensive zone in the near corner. Sent around to the far side now. It is Bremer who fans on his clearing attempts. Instead, he will tap it back around the boards, rolled all the way down the near side. It escaped roll wagon stick and heads all the way down for icing with 15:29 to go in the second period.
Austin Czarnik is indeed the leading scorer in the Switzerland National League for SC Bern. Our official stats keeper, a.k.a. me, looked it up.
Shout out to Austin Czarnik, man.
I know, he's
one of the best ever.
What a name, too. Say, little NHL journeyman, saw him in plenty of different.
Scored an overtime winner in the playoffs for the Boston Bruins.
He did. Guy's a legend.
He is a legend. Certainly a Miami one at the very least.
One of my favorite third liners of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Redhawks with it in the offensive zone. He was hardly the third liner when he was here at Miami.
No.
He was good enough, in fact, to keep Sean Corrali as the second line centerman at the time. With Czarnik playing up top.
Corrali, current center for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes. Cox has it on the right point for Miami. He'll feather it off the far wall where it's picked up by Colby Ambrosio. Dylan Moulton with a quick slap shot that ends up way high and wide. Sullivan will roll it down low for Casper Nasson behind the cage. He will use the body to work it up to the near point. Spencer Cox there for it for Miami. Shot through traffic, took a tip. It looked like Messenberg got on it, but Radler did as well to make the save, and Omaha will clear. Messenberg shoves it into the offensive zone for Miami. Redhawks will complete the change. Mavericks work it past center, and Erdahl will direct it into the Redhawk end. 14:25 to go in the second period. It's 2-1 Omaha. As Christoph Fillion chips it into the Maverick end, and the Redhawks will work on the forecheck. Miami does work it free. Michael Quinn with another tip shot through. Fillion get a stick on it this time, and another save made by Riedler.
Easily the best shift of the period for the Redhawks so far.
Shot sent intentionally wide, or I should say a dump-in attempt that would have been icing, but Erdahl beat it out, nearly had a shot in on goal. Now Erdahl finds it in the high slot and rips it wide. And Omaha will keep it alive in the near corner of the offensive zone. Thanks to some good hustle from Erdahl. Redhawks do strip it away. Messenberg will worm the puck back out to center. Hutchison across the ice for Michael Quinn, banking it forward for Caragiello, who will also bank it off the far wall and in deep in the zone for the Redhawks to finish the change. Sam Stang, 9 goals on the year, hands it back for Omaha for Jacob Gavin. He will fire it around the boards to the far side where it's tapped back behind the Redhawk cage by the Mavericks. Redhawks, though, will work it out quickly, and now John Emmons with some speed down the right side, entering the zone, turns it around, tried to take the shot. He was stood up, however, by Griffin Ludke. RedHawks still with it, and it's Emmons up the far wall for Theodore Forcenter. Emmons rolls the puck along the wall to the near side where Nick Donato holds it along the half wall. Matt Chapani hit Theodore Forcenter in the back with his shot. RedHawks still with it though, and Chapani had it plucked off his stick by the Mavericks, who will head forward. Ludke down the left side, steps into the zone. Was very close to being offside there, but Israel stayed on. Puck ends up along the end wall where Risk gets bumped off it by Simonovics. Cross-ice pass for John Emmons heading down the right side, 2-on-3. He will just throw it in deep and let Max Dukovac handle. Tapping back down low for Matt Chapani, throwing it in front. No RedHawks there, and it's directed back to the far corner. And a clearing attempt hit off the wall there, and again, didn't get out of the zone. It just fell right in the center of the slot, and Omaha, in a moment of panic, just swats it down and will take the icing. That's the second clearing attempt we've seen from a Maverick. This is on the opposite end of the ice, but it's been thrown off the glass and just taken a funny bounce and not really gone the angle the Mavericks have wanted and just kind of fallen right where it was cleared from.
Yeah, certainly a weird play, but of course the RedHawks will take the offensive zone draw nonetheless.
And it gets the, if you want to call it, top line out there with Vitalins, Waldron, and Dukovac.
Vitalins took Chupani's place on that right wing. Chupani now with Forcender and Emmons on that fourth line. Interesting choice by Coach Noreen.
Puck is sent down the ice and Dylan Moulton chases it down. RedHawks will work it through neutral ice off a nifty give and go there between Waldron and Vitalins. Into the offensive zone the RedHawks have it, and a shot in from the left point. Save made by Radler on Spencer Cox, who got thrown into the Miami bench after he took that shot by Jacob Slipik, who's speaking with the official right now. And now Cox goes over and gives a bump to Slipik. But nonetheless, that will bring us to a immediate timeout. 11:54 to go, second period. Not as much action here in frame two as we saw in the first. It's still 2-1 Omaha. We're back after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Back here at Cady Arena, it is Omaha 2 and Miami 1 with 11:54 to go in the second period. Luke West Poley and Jeff Middleton with you. As the RedHawks try to get their first NCHC win. They'll have to come from behind for a second straight night after scoring the game's first goal. Face-off win by the Mavericks in their defensive zone. It'll be skated across the center red by Brock Bremer, who will send it down the ice. Omaha will chase it down in the offensive zone and work it back to the far side where Bremer on the hashes wraps it back to the near wing. Gratton pinching down. He will swipe it deep in the offensive zone. In the far corner it goes where Krenzen's in a puck battle. RedHawks pull it free though, and Hutchison will circle his net. Up the far wall, he throws it off the boards and it deflects right back to him where he will just throw it back to neutral ice. Now Krenzen working his way back in, drags and shoots high and wide over the shoulder of Brett Miller. Sullivan throws it blindly behind him on the far side. It'll roll up to the half wall where Sam Stang works his way through. And now below the goal line it is Ellis on it, tapping it along to the near corner for Liam Watkins. Up to the point, Gramer will force it back in deep around to the far wall. It'll be let go and Stang will take care of it at the right point, throwing it wide. Picked up on the near side. A short backhand pass into a one-timer by Kramer that ends up wide of the net. And a puck battle for it behind the cage is brought in by the RedHawks. Sullivan will skate it halfway up the wall, clear it the rest of the way, and Omaha will back it into their own defensive end as the RedHawks finish up the line change. Pass through center was touched just enough by Erdahl. Looked like he missed it, but did get enough to negate the icing. RedHawks, meanwhile, will throw it back the other way. They're not so lucky. It'll go down untouched and be icing with 10:14 to go in the second. Still 2-1 Omaha. The Mavericks will take the face-off on the near side.
Yeah, very much the polar opposite of the second period we saw yesterday, let alone the first period that we've seen tonight, where the RedHawks just kind of feel like a step behind right now. And, you know, as we've heard Coach Noreen talk about all the time, there's going to be ebbs and flows in a game, and right now they have to kind of tilt the ice back towards their way because it just has been all Omaha so far.
Thrown out in front, they score from the boards. It was Risk.
Wow.
And Gavin batted it out of the air.
It's great deflection. Yeah, I mean, you can't get much better than that. I mean, just not sure if it was a designed face-off play, but Gavin streaking towards the net from the far side, and yeah, Risk, as you said, Luke, threw it in the air, and Gavin just perfect tip. We'll see what happens on this face-off. Not sure if it was, yeah, it looked like it was a design face-off play as Gavin came from the right defense spot, and Risk just kind of went to the half wall, made sure to get the puck after the clean face-off win, and yeah, batted it out of the air. Really skillful goal there.
Threw it waist high, and Gavin bats it in. And so the RedHawks now down 2 goals with under 10 minutes to play in the second. Miami will bring it into the offensive zone as Spencer Cox shoots it wide. Frankie Cargiello banking up to the point. Moulton with a shot through traffic, tipped by Blake Messenberg, but wide of the net. Goal to Jacob Gavin, Risk and Ludke with the assists as a net front drive now picked up, and Cox hauled his man down. And that was Chase LaPinta. The Omaha bench was furious that there was no penalty called. It's kind of an odd sequence there, though, as now a penalty will be called with a puck battle.
Call Moulton for holding.
Yeah, it's still in Moulton, who will go to the box.
Just a nightmare first 10 minutes, first 11 minutes almost for Miami. Moulton's arguing the call, but I mean, if I'm the referee, I don't blame him for calling that at all. Moulton had his man pinned up against the wall for an extra lengthy period of time as Cox just he held the puck over behind the RedHawks goal line, and yeah, Moulton, I believe it was LaPinta behind the goal line as well, just kind of a little bit to the right of Spencer Cox and wouldn't let his man go, and that's going to result in a penalty kill, and Miami's going to have to kill off another one here. Omaha already 1 for 1.
So Moulton 2 minutes for holding. RedHawks do poke it out of the zone off the faceoff. And the Mavericks will pull it back. As Jeff mentioned, Omaha is 1 for 1 today. They came in just 14.7% on the power play on the season. 11 goals on 75 attempts. Even lower than Miami's 19.5% on the season. Mavericks will play it into the offensive end where the RedHawks are on it first. Simonovic blew a tire dangerously, but RedHawks had puck support, and Matt Schipani will rope it down the ice for Miami as all 4 RedHawks hustle off. Minute 12 to go in the penalty to Moulton. 8:30 to go second period. It's 3-1 Omaha. A bank pass intended for Israels heads all the way in on goal, and Brett Miller will come out on it before Israels can get there and cover, resulting in a face-off on the near side of the ice with 65 seconds left on the penalty to Moulton. Miami 80.8 this season on the penalty kill. It's been a strength for the RedHawks throughout the year. Face-off win by the Mavericks, and a shot in from the far side. Drifts high for Sam Stang. Leading goal scorer has been quieted by Miami this weekend, but a couple of chances of late here in this period. Risk, backhanded to the bumper. Now it's Stang with room down the right side, throwing it on the net. And Brett Miller makes the save with the glove. Another whistle drawn with 44 seconds left in the penalty to Moulton.
Yeah, you mentioned Stang, really fantastic player. Detroit Red Wings draft pick, graduate student. 15 points in 21 games so far this year, but you can see why. The shot that he has on that right side on this power play has been fantastic. He's still out there with 44 seconds remaining on this Omaha man advantage, but yeah, really great shot, and a little bit shocked the RedHawks are giving him as much room as they are on that right side, but nonetheless, Brett Miller's come up big a couple times here.
Transfer from Wisconsin. And tracks the puck down to the far wall after the faceoff, but the RedHawks will paste him up against the far boards. Pulled free by Glenn, and now ripped around to the near side where Risk will play it back in deep. Waldron will backhand it up the far boards and past the reach of Dylan Gratton. It'll go down the ice with 21 seconds left on Moulton's penalty. RedHawks will get another PK unit out there with Shapani and Vitalin's up top. As Vitalin's fell, that opens up in Israel's lane. In on goalie, backhands it on. Miller makes the save, poking away at it now, but Miller hangs on. And with 8 seconds to go in the penalty, Miller makes his best save of the PK.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Raymond Vitalins was forechecking, came in on this near side, tried to kind of sweep through what is the RedHawks offensive zone as Omaha was breaking out, and then blew a tire, and for Omaha they took advantage as it was Israel's down this left side. Fortunately, Brett Miller comes up once again. And despite having, looking at his stat line, only his stat line, 3 goals on 17 shots, doesn't really represent the kind of game that Miller's having right now. He's had to make some big saves just like that one.
RedHawks turned it over, and another good opportunity. Liam Watkins lasered one in from the right dot. Miller made the save, shrugged it off. With 1 second left on the penalty, there's a stoppage, and now it appears Miami will try to maybe reset their lines a little bit, although when Moulton comes out of the box, they will have 3 defensemen on the ice. They sent Waldron and Dukovac over the boards, so they might try to send Moulton off the ice.
They can get a face-off win, and they don't.
They do not. Moulton onto the ice, and he will join the RedHawks defensively. Moreland heading to the far wing with possession for Omaha. Gets into the corner, lost his handle for a moment, regathers towards the zone and finds Lapinta left point. Lapinta with it on the right side. Will walk his way down, driving towards the net front with a sharp angle shot. Save with a shoulder by Brett Miller. And now Dukovac will work it forward across the center red line. Moulton finally off. He's replaced by Casper Nassen. Watkins will shove a cross-corner dump to the far side of the offensive zone for Omaha. RedHawks pick it up, and now Nassen heading down the far side with some speed, although he is hampered as soon as he enters the zone. RedHawks keep possession, though, and will force a puck battle. Max Dukovac working on it, and Casper Nassen pulls it out. Michael Quinn with it from the right side. Throws one through. Save made, I believe, by Radler, and the puck back up to the point now. Dempsey with a wrister. That looked like intentionally wide. Waldron throws it across, back to the left point for Dempsey. Now Quinn, cross ice. He was looking for Forsander, but that pass tipped by Lapinta over to the far boards. Back to the near wing. It is Quinn on the right side. He handles and will try to shove it back in deep, but Omaha will take it and clear back out. Lurie lost his footing. Forsander will leave it along for Johnny Waldron, who also lost his handle. Waldron now falls, and Slipik shoving away at him as the puck is just logged up against the near wall. Matt Shapani will pull it out and head forward on it for Miami. Shapani in the far corner. Reverses just underneath the goal line, and now the puck stuck where the goal line meets the boards on the far side. Shapani kicking away at it. His stick is tied up. His skates are not. He tried to kick it up to the point, but Omaha chipped it past Nick Donato, and the RedHawks will have to regroup. Back into the zone it goes off the tip by Shapani. Frankie Carajoyello arrives at the puck first on the far side. Kramer will make sure he doesn't go anywhere with it as he will put his arms on the back of Caragiello and hold him up against the wall. 2-on-2 puck battle. Was in there for a long time. Now it comes free to Nick Donato, who pinches in to poke that back down low on the near side. Gramer will throw it against the far wall, and a big collision on the other side between Gramer and Shapani, who's been out there for a long time. He will finally get off as the puck is back out at center. RedHawks almost gave it away as it was kicked to the middle of the ice by Nick Donato, but Miami recovers it. In the corner, it is Rollwagon in the offensive zone. 4.5 to go, second period. 3-1 Omaha, our score. Shot whistled wide from Krenzen, and the RedHawks will pick it up. Puck has flown off the glass and back out to center. Glenn off the near wall, and now a spin around attempt in front, looking for Rollwagon, but Brock Bremer couldn't find him, and the RedHawks will take it and head up ice. Vitalin's lugging across the M. Short pass for Fillion, tapping back Vitalin's, lost his handle on it, and Krenzen takes over for the Mavericks. Back up the near wall and guided through center. Erdahl driving in, Cox pokes it away from him and takes him all the way to the boards with him. Tossing him up against the wall. Mavericks still with it though, and D2D, it's Gratton from the near point. Now Gavin dragging, shooting, and hit a man in front. A rebound chopped at by Sam Stang, but he didn't get the puck on his shot attempts. And the RedHawks will clear it out. Brought back in by the Mavericks. Off the dump, and the RedHawks will try to break out, but it's broken up. Erdahl, cross corner dump to the far side where Gratton pinches in and will play it in behind for Watkins. Poked by him by Spencer Cox. Raymond's Vitalin's throws a bouncing puck out in front that is knocked down by the Mavericks, but the RedHawks secure the loose puck and will dump it into the Omaha end. Sullivan kicks it up against the end wall on the far side. RedHawks in a bit of a line jumble right now as Forsander has it, throws it against the back of the cage, but didn't have a teammate there to help him. As Sullivan was pinned down, now it's thrown all the way down the ice, and a race for it ensues, and icing is called on a very, very close play between Quinn and Israels. It looked like as that whistle was being blown, Israels was able to get body position and step in front of Quinn, which did not please the Omaha bench very much, but the icing was called, and the RedHawks will take the draw on the far side.
A little bit of a back and forth game. Both teams establishing some sort of possession. I think the Mavericks lead in that regard, obviously, but looking for a little bit more here from Miami.
Off the face-off below the goal line, Casper Nasson for Miami. Up the wall, he will hold it in the zone with the help of Theodore Forsander. Shoveled in deep by Blake Messenberg. Nasson throws his man up against the wall. Now play down in front. Messenberg got a swan at it and thrown on net by Nasson.
Wow.
Somehow that puck stayed loose and the save was made. It skitters out in front dangerously again, and Omaha will track it down and clear. I don't know how Nasson got a secondary opportunity there. That puck looked like it was surely underneath of Radler. Quinn will dump it back in for Miami. The RedHawks will send Vitalin's and Dukovac back onto the ice. It's floated back out by the Mavericks. Nick Donato plays it to the near wall, and Messenberg will chop it in. RedHawks will finish off the change by sending Waldron on the ice. Meanwhile, Vitalin's has gone into forecheck. Under 2 minutes to go in the second period, rather. 3-1 the score in favor of Omaha. RedHawk goes down, and a penalty is going to come up here as Brett Miller's hustling off the ice. Miami with possession. Semenovic tries to spin his way through. Now Donato dragging it across. He was trying to find Waldron, who would have had a lane in the right side for a good shot, but it was intercepted, and that will bring the whistle for the penalty, and that will send Miami to their first power play tonight. 2 minutes for holding to Garrett Pinanimi. And the RedHawks go to the man advantage, down 2 goals with 1:36 to go in the second. Big power play coming up when we return. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Minute 36 to play in the second. Miami will have a power play that will cross between period lines should they not score. 2 minutes for holding to Garrett Pinanimi. RedHawks need one here, though, Jeff, as they trail by 2 late in the second.
Yeah, and I think that this would do a lot for morale. I mean, you end last period giving up 2 goals, and in the last minute and a half of this, if you can get a goal, then that's huge going down into the final frame only down 1.
RedHawks do win the faceoff and tried to run a play between Waldron and Sullivan. It was broken up, though, and now the Mavericks will clear down. Miami power play on the year, 19.5%, 15 for 77. This is the RedHawks' first chance tonight.
We'll say the good news is that if you can't get one here, you get a little bit of time next period as well, just in case.
About 30 seconds of time. Sullivan down the right side. Fires just wide on the far post. He had the room to shoot it down there as we cross under a minute to go.
It's a great look, though. That's what you're trying to get.
Sullivan with a couple plays destined for him on the power play. Omaha, meanwhile, a very good penalty-killing team at about 83% on the season. Johnny Waldron skates it down the right side, pushes it in, not very far, but the RedHawks do take possession. Sullivan, though, lost his balance, and the puck ends up pinned along the near wall where it's pulled out by Rollwagon, who will just play it softly down the ice. Gavin's going to get there first for the Mavericks. He's just going to leave it behind him and trying to kill some more time with 18 seconds to go in the period. Casper Nasson will finally pull it away from Rollwagon. Time for maybe one last rush for the RedHawks. Shapani heading forward, throws it towards the front of the net. Phil Jan was trying to tap it on, and he missed. It rolled in on Radler, who covered up. Phil Jan had really no choice there but to go into Radler. He had Mavericks on both sides of him, who kind of guided him right into their own goaltender. But, of course, neither really liked that Phil Jan gave a tap to the netminder regardless. 9.2 seconds to go in the period. What is going on? We had a lot of
bodies on the ice.
Late jawing, yeah. Looked down for just a second, and officials were separating guys, but now they're ready for the faceoff. 9 seconds to go in the period. Offensive zone faceoff will be taken by Colby Ambrosio of Miami against Harrison Israels. And Israels wins it for Omaha. Ellis will take it around and rip it down the far side of Mountain. Maybe a break shorthanded. Dragging, staying, waiting, shooting just wide. And that will end the second period. Pretty good shorthanded look for Omaha to end the second. But Miami at least survives that, and we'll have 25 seconds of carryover power play time for period number 3 when play resumes. So Omaha gets one in the second period, and they expand upon their lead, and the RedHawks go down 3-1 again now, headed into the third period. Shots on goal 20-17 in favor of the Mavericks after 40 minutes. RedHawks came out a little slower in the second than they did in the first. They concede the only goal of the period. Again, you have a little bit of that carryover power play time, which you'd ideally like to give you some good energy to start your third period strong. However, you just never know, and this is the first power play of the game for Miami. It hasn't looked particularly strong so far outside of one big chance from Ryan Sullivan.
Yeah, and I think as of right now, you're trying to create momentum. I mean, you had momentum in the first period. You got a goal from it. You probably deserved one more, if I'm being honest. And then Omaha creates their own momentum in the last 5 minutes of that first period, and that carries over to the second. And with this power play, you're really trying to create momentum. You're trying to get crisp breakouts like you were in the first, trying to get crisp, simple passes like you were in the first period, win those loose puck battles, play physical, play hard, and play fast. And I think the biggest one is play connected. Against a team like Omaha, they're fast, and they're going to be able to predict what Miami's doing, and you have to be predictable to yourself as well as unpredictable to the opponent, as Anthony Noreen likes to say. But, yeah, I mean, just try and limit chances on the other end. I mean, as of right now, the cycle is going really well for Omaha, and, you know, you're trying to maintain possession and really create some chances against Riedler, who's playing a good game but, you know, isn't invincible.
Certainly. So 3-1 our score after 2 periods of play here from Cady Arena. One more period this weekend as the Mavericks look for the road sweep. 25 seconds of power play time coming up for Miami to start the third after the penalty to Garrett Pinanimi. Third period coming up in about 13 minutes time. Stay tuned. Jeff and I back with you then as Miami trails Omaha 3-1. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Back for more in just a bit. Omaha 3, Miami 1. Our score after 2 periods here from Cady Arena. Lucas Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. 25 seconds of power play time carrying over as Garrett Pinanimi will head back to the box for Omaha. RedHawks in their first crack at it on the power play today. Did not do a ton with it in that last period. Did hit a post off a Ryan Sullivan shot from the right point through traffic, but we'll hope to at least have a productive final 25 seconds at the very least to get some momentum going here in this third. Omaha scored the only goal of the second period. After a 2-1 lead they held in the first, Mavericks scored both of their goals in the final minute of the first period. In fact, at the two very furthest reaches of the final minute, one with 59.9 on the clock, one with .5 on the clock after the RedHawks led 1-0. Response out of the gate in the second period yesterday was good, Jeff. Second period today was okay. RedHawks gave up a goal that was not fluky in an Omaha sense, but there wasn't a ton outside of winning a face-off they probably could have done to combat it. However, very important first 25 seconds here on this power play.
Yeah, certainly, and I think it's been kind of telling this weekend. The team that starts the period fastest ends up winning the period, and, you know, I think that Miami, the first period tonight is kind of an anomaly in that sense, and even maybe the first period yesterday, but the teams that have controlled the first kind of few minutes have been the teams that have ended up getting rewarded for it, so we'll see what Miami can do here.
Face-off won by Omaha, who will back it all the way into their own end and clear it down the ice with 13 seconds remaining on the penalty. Johnny Waldron lugging it ahead for Miami, crosses the M, tries to dangle through. He fell down as the puck came in on Radler, who jumps out and covers it with 5 seconds left on the penalty.
That might have been a trip, but no call, probably because it's the first 20 seconds of the period and Miami's already on a power play, but nonetheless, Miami's going to get an offensive zone draw off of this, so we'll see what they can do here. It's a key, I mean, only 5 seconds remaining on the power play, but still a key offensive zone draw to try and set something up.
Puck pops in the air off the face-off, and it's clubbed down the ice by Sam Stang. That's it for the penalty. Pinanimi will head to the bench. Omaha with a successful kill on their first try tonight. Waldron down the left side enters the zone for Miami. He gets crunched good as the Mavericks send it down the far side of the ice. It is thrown out in front by the RedHawks and Michael Quinn looking for Kasper Nasson, but he was not able to connect with him cleanly, and the Mavericks will lay it out towards center ice. Nasson will slap it back into the offensive zone. Radler out of the net to secure it behind his cage. Crossing the 1 minute mark of the third period. 3-1 Omaha our score. Omaha clearing its ends, tipped in. It rolls in on Brett Miller, who plays it aside, and the RedHawks tried to feed it forward. That pass by Spencer Cox tipped into the seats, and we get a pause with 18:51 to go in the third period.
Still nothing really doing for Miami in the offensive zone, just a little slow. I mean, in the first period, you could see them really moving their feet, really hustling, and it felt like they were all kind of connected. And right now, it just feels a little disjointed as it felt at the start of the second.
Watkins on the face-off for Omaha against Ryan Sullivan. RedHawks won it, but Colby Ambrosio kicked it right up to the point where Joe Kramer caught it and carried it down the wall. His shot through the slot was wide and did not find the target. As that's now knocked on goal as the RedHawks were holding onto it, and Erdahl just poke-checked it in on frame. Luckily, Brett Miller was there to kick it away. Near corner of the defensive zone, it's Spencer Cox. Spinning it back in behind and now dragging it off for Ryan Sullivan, who tried to slip it up the wall to Colby Ambrosio. He can't on the second try. Ambrosio will give it in behind the RedHawk net now to Dylan Moulton. D to the near side. It's Spencer Cox. Forward for Colby Ambrosio. Handles once and throws it across the ice. Nobody but Mavericks there, and Risk will dump it in. Around the near wall, Messenberg plays it between his legs and finds Christoph Fillion heading in on a 1-on-2. Fillion will start to round the net, then hit the brakes and feed upward for Blake Messenberg. Messenberg has it now near corner of the offensive zone and will find Frankie Caragiuelo. Upright point, it is Donato, and it pops over his stick and back out of the zone. Simonovic's backing it into Miami's zone end. Diagonal pass, and now rink wide. It's Blake Messenberg spinning around as he enters the zone and swirling the puck in deep. Back to the right point. It is knocked off the end wall by the RedHawks and picked up on the near wall by Matt Schipani. Messenberg back for Schipani through the legs of him, but the RedHawks still keep it alive. Messenberg dragging and shooting. Save made. Schipani had his stick on the rebound, but could not fire. Now Hutchison with a shot through traffic, and that went wide. Simonovic from the far corner will shield off with his body, keeping possession and feeding back up to the top and losing his footing there. John Emmons not able to hold the zone for Miami. That'll force the RedHawks to regroup. Luckily, Emmons kept that away from a couple prying Mavericks, so you could have been looking at a maybe 2-on-0. Now the Mavericks will take it forward with some speed, and the handle and shot sent in by Charlie Lurie. And Miller might have got a piece of that as it ended up high on the glass. Back out to neutral ice. Dump-in attempt hits off the linesman. Omaha heads in onside. Pinanimi behind the net with Vitalin's on his back, and he is wrestled down to the ice. RedHawks will take the puck out, and Emmons will work it forward for Theodore Forsander. Forsander trying to dangle that through traffic, and it was knocked away from him. The RedHawks will now just take it and dump in. Anthony Noreen with a stern look on his face as his young line heads off. Down the left side, Tyler Rollwagon will chip it into the offensive zone. 4 minutes gone by, third period. Still 3-1 Omaha. They lead the shot department by 1, 20-19. Cross ice find. It's Dukovac down the left wing. Short pass for Vitalins, who lets it go between his legs and head into the zone. Omaha breaks it out the far side and will now work it near wing. Rollwagon, touch pass off for Glenn. Heading around the net in the offensive zone. And he gets just bunched up against the far boards, lost his stick and glove, which went flying away, and he's visibly shaken up as the RedHawks take it the other direction. Dukovac tried to sauce it towards the middle, but that was batted away nicely by Jacob Gavin, and a 2-on-2 the other direction for Omaha, although a third arrives for the RedHawks, and it will just be a dump-in for the Mavericks. Miami takes it forward. Johnny Waldron in, leaves for Donato. It's off the crossbar, still loose in front. And it ends up on the near boards. Donato just slapped at that puck and hit it off the crossbar. And then it nearly deflected off Riedler's back and went in, but the Mavericks sent it away.
Wow, what a sequence. Kind of a broken play. Johnny Waldron just trying to cut horizontally through the offensive zone, and Nick Donato, the third man in, came in, and like you said, Luke, just slapped at that puck off the crossbar, off Riedler's back. Who's kind of spun it around, and it ended up on the near wall.
RedHawks do get it through center, and now some speed down the left wing for Ambrosio. Waiting, drags between the legs, tried to throw it down in front. He was walled off, though, by Noah Ellis. RedHawks still with possession. Moulton on the right point, gets to the middle, sliding, knock away by Erdahl. Instead, it's Simonovic on the left point, who will play it in deep for the RedHawks. Behind the net, Colby Ambrosio settles it down. Working off with his body, he will chop it to the near wing. Rehard Simonovic leaves it at the left point for Sullivan. Cross the ice, Moulton with a shot. That got sticked aside, thrown out in front by Schipani, and Ambrosio could not get to that puck in time. At the right point, Moulton spins it into the circle, chops one out in front, save made, rebound tucked away at it. Where is the puck? Riedler, it looks like, is on it. He's got one leg on each side of the post, and the puck was, it appears, in his pad on the outside leg. So that puck did not enter the net. It is a whistle, and with 13:49 to go, we can take a breath with the RedHawks still down 3-1.
And that's much more like what we want to see and what Coach Anthony Noreen wants to see from his RedHawks. Winning loose puck battles, really making the short, simple passes, especially at the top of the zone, going D to D. A good spin move from Dylan Moulton to try and create something. Generates a couple chances down low, but Riedler up to the task once again.
Messenberg on the face-off against Israels, and Omaha with the advantage, winning the draw backward. It's played up the near wall where Risk will battle along down the ice, and no icing as Hutchison races back on it for Miami. Hutchison plays it in front of his own net where Fillion will flutter it off the far wall. Blake Messenberg hustling forward on it, spearing the puck across the center red. He is walled off there, and the Mavericks will take the puck away and fire it in while changing their forwards. Played off the far wall. A big hit applied by Christoph Fillion into the back of Erdahl, and that's going to bring a penalty. Erdahl had the puck in his feet, and Fillion just came right through and went shoulder right into the back, bumped him over. Not a particularly hard hit, but one right in the back and in that area, a few feet off the boards. A dangerous one. And it will be a 2-minute boarding call against Christoph Fillion of Miami to send the RedHawks to the kill for the third time.
And those are the penalties you just can't take. I mean, you're down 2 goals. Still plenty of time left in this third period, but you know, that's 2 minutes off the clock that Omaha's going to have on a man advantage. You just can't have that. You just can't take a penalty like that, and especially can't have one of your older, more experienced players taking that kind of penalty. Christoph Fillion, a national champion, and a grad student here, transferred from Quinnipiac, but looked to as a guy that's going to be an example, especially in the later game. They need him, even for penalty killing, they need him, and now he's in the box for 2 minutes because of a not smart penalty.
So the RedHawks will have to kill. Omaha 1 for 2 so far. Staying down the right side, rings the right post. Leading goal scorers come close on a couple of occasions so far today. Couple of dives at the puck from each team. Israels and Chapani, and really neither came up with it with that puck high in the zone. RedHawks pulled it back, and Simonovic just lasered that into the stands. He was trying to throw it off the glass and down, and he just ripped that puck.
Don't think anybody got hit, fortunately. Thought I heard it hit a seat, but yeah, wow, that was... Look out down below. Wow.
So that brings the face-off all the way back down into Miami's end. Minute 37 to go in the Fillion penalty. 12:51 to go in the third. It's Omaha 3 and Miami 1. Face-off win by the RedHawks, and Johnny Waldron has it on the far side. He will throw it as far as the edge of the center circle, or Omaha will pull it back and regroup. Glynn takes a step to the interior and lays it back to the outside for Stang. Bringing it around the boards to the far wall. It is thrown back to the near side where Stang will secure it at the point. Spinning it back in deep, Israels picks it up off the wall and digs it free, but threw it blindly behind him, and Zane Dempsey was waiting for Miami. He will clear down. Past the halfway mark of the penalty, RedHawks trail it by 2 goals with 12:10 to go in the third. Tearing down the left side, Tyler Rollwagon enters the zone. Puck poked off his stick, but Gavin holds the left point. Handling, Gavin leaves it for Ludke. Top of the left circle, shifting back and forth with Chapani right on his back. Now it's Rollwagon left dot, leaving it back for Gavin, throwing it to the front of the net. Couple whacks at it in front from Rollwagon, and saves were made by Brett Miller. RedHawks still cannot clear. Left point, Ludke working in, plays it down low to the bumper spot. Save made by Miller. He fell to his backside as Bremer gave that shot through, and the RedHawks prevented an additional rebound. Gavin center point. Off to the right side, Lurie waiting, shooting out in front. It was blocked by his teammate, and Miller made a huge save on the rebound on Rollwagon.
Wow.
Had Rollwagon just let that go, that probably would have been a backdoor tap-in for Brock Bremer, but I don't think he saw him, and instead he took that backdoor pass as a pass to him as he was standing on the edge of the blue paint, and then kind of turned 270 degrees and threw it on net, and Miller made a tall standing save. And the RedHawks will get a very much earned rest with 12 seconds to go in the penalty. Whistle brings the face-off to the far side of the ice.
Yeah, dangerous from the Mavericks, but thankfully Brett Miller has been on it today. He's played very, very well in the RedHawks net despite allowing 3 goals, none of which you can really blame him for.
Thrown out in front off the face-off that hit off the skate of Dylan Moulton, and Johnny Waldron will poke the loose puck out of the zone. That will run the rest of the time off on the penalty to Fillion. We are back to full strength as Omaha falls to 1 for 3 on the night on the man advantage. Dump comes in off the glass for Liam Watkins. RedHawks will break it back out to the neutral zone where Jacob Gavin will back up on it and throw it across the ice. Still 11 minutes left to play in the third period with the RedHawks down 3-1. Near side of the defensive zone, RedHawks have a couple guys working on the wall and pulled free by Spencer Cox, who will head behind the net and release it for Dylan Moulton. Moulton up the near side for Johnny Waldron, cutting it across the center M and tucking near wing for Casper Nassen. He enters the zone. He will put the stop sign on and dump it in behind. Puck rolls to the far wing where it is chipped in for the RedHawks, and Johnny Waldron will get it back to the point for Donato. Now Semenovics with a shot from the left point. Pad save made by Radler. Back in behind Raymond's Vitalins. He is being tarped by Slipik. Johnny Waldron on the puck now gives up left point for Semenovics, who will wrap it back to the far side, and Donato steps in, finds Vitalin, shot through traffic, save made with the left pad by Radler, and now Waldron with a giveaway, and Erdahl will head down. Maybe a 2-on-1 as Erdahl drags and shoots. It's partially blocked by Semenovics with the poke check.
Great play.
And the RedHawks escape that on-man opportunity. Donato down the left side. He was about to take a huge hit. He's gotten beat up tonight. Instead, he'll just poke it into the offensive zone and go change. Puck moves by Slipik down the near wall. Penanimi can't fully dump it into the Miami end, and that will allow the RedHawks to move forward with some speed. Michael Quinn enters the zone, hits it off the far wall where Colby Ambrosio will push it further into the zone. Up the near wall it goes now, where Hutchison engaged with Slipik in a battle. Hutchison did pull it free for a moment. Now it's back in the battle and ends up squirting back low in the zone. Norland lost his footing, and the RedHawks will get possession as a result. Hutchison left point, drags it across Michael Quinn. Shot through traffic, no tip comes. It ends up in the left corner. Picked up by Ambrosio, back center point Hutchison. Now room for Quinn, top of the right circle, threw it in front, and Forsander got a tip. It went just wide.
Great look.
From the left side, it is pitched back out to the neutral zone by Slipik and will end up short of icing. That allows Omaha to get their new skaters on the ice. Same for Miami as Hutchison steps it in and will fire back into the Omaha zone. 8.5 to play. Omaha 3, Miami 1. As some forecheck there for Blake Messenberg, and a clearing attempt hit him and deflected right in front of the net, but the RedHawks could not get to the puck first, and Omaha will clear successfully this time to neutral ice. Cargiello steps it across the center red line. Can't thread a pass through. We got a penalty coming up, though, right as that pass was coming in. It looks like something away from the puck, and a hooking call will be whistled against Brady Risk of Omaha. And I have to get another look at this on replay, but seems like something of a gift for the RedHawks, as that didn't look like it impacted the play. Didn't really see much, but that whistle was blown right as the referee put his arm up. So right as Omaha was taking the puck away, and that'll send us to immediate timeout. We'll give you more clarity on the situation when we come back. 8:10 to go in the third period. Power play coming up for the RedHawks, down 3-1 to Omaha. We're back after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 8:10 remaining in the third period. It's Omaha 3 and Miami 1. RedHawks to the power play after the hooking call to Brady Risk. When Menchpani had the puck just prior to that last sequence, got turned around. That was because of the hook we saw on replay, and that'll bring the RedHawks to their second power play. Miami 0 for 1 on the night. They win the faceoff, and the RedHawks will go to work on the man advantage. Waldron down the right side, finds Quinn center point, back off for Waldron right dot. Walking it up to the point, Waldron will stop, give up for Quinn center point, wrists one through traffic, tapped in on the second effort, but the save made by Kevin Radler. Quinn, cross to the right side for Waldron, will shoot one with a stick save, off balance there by Radler. Looked like a harmless enough shot from Waldron, but Radler kind of stumbled as he made the save. Still did so. Quinn trying to dish off for Waldron, but it hit the skate there of the defender in the area. That was Israel's, and Omaha will clear it down. And the Mavericks get to the puck first and will slap it up the near wall. Mavericks tried to give it back to their defense, but gave it away. 3-on-2 for the RedHawks. Fillion crossed the ice for Waldron. Good back check there to poke that away. It was Slippick that came back and applied the poke check on Waldron.
And Logan Belgraf has given it to whoever shot it into him. He was yelling at him. Logan Belgraf, the linesman, screaming at one of the Mavericks.
Interesting. So the RedHawks get it back into the offensive zone. Hutchison off to the far side for Cox, trying to give it back for Hutchison, and it's tipped away. Christoph Fillion down the left wing. Will send it around the far dasher. Big hit applied on Spencer Cox as the puck rolls up the far side, and Hutchison can't hold the zone. So the top power play unit got a lot done for Miami. The second yet to really find their footing. They do get it into the zone, and they lose the puck. Israel stripped it away from Ambrosio. Now with a step in, Israel's backhands across, and a good poke check by Christoph Fillion to keep it away from Sam Stang. Penalty comes to an end. Back to full strength as Risk is out of the box. Dumped back in by the RedHawks. Theodore Forsander poking away at the puck as it is brought back out to center ice. Forsander looked like he was offside, so now that the puck's back out of the zone, doesn't matter. RedHawks work it back in. Vitalin's tried to give it in for a breaking Donato towards the front of the net. That was deflected away, and Omaha will clear it back Miami's way. 5:38 to go, third period, 3-1 Mavericks in night 2 of the series. They were 4-1 victors yesterday. Simonovic has it poked off his stick, and now Bremer with a step down the far side. 2-on-1, Bremer chips to the front, shoots, and a save made by Brett Miller. And now the RedHawks turn maybe to go on a break, but Forsander's gassed. He'll just have to tap it along the far wall and let the Mavericks clear it back the RedHawks' way. Out at center ice, Risk with a nice between the legs touch off for Watkins. Fanning on a couple of passing attempts. It's back with him. He threw it to the back door where it's jabbed on net, but the save was made by Brett Miller on Chase LaPinta. Now Casper Nasson with it in the offensive zone for Miami. Can't drag it through the traffic. Nick Donato gloves it down at the point for Miami to hold the zone, and Caragiello will shovel it in for the RedHawks. Slapped along the near boards by Omaha and Nolan Krenzen. It rolled up along the glass and into the netting, and that will give Miami an offensive zone draw with 4:43 to go in the period. And I believe we're going to have a timeout here, and we will. Media timeout, 4:43 to go in the third period. It's Omaha 3 and Miami 1 as we skate 5 aside. When we come back, last-ditch effort coming up for the RedHawks. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Stay with us. 4:43 to go, third period. It's Omaha 3 and Miami 1. Offensive zone faceoff coming up for the RedHawks top line. Dukovac, Waldron, and Casper Nasson playing on the right wing now for Miami. Puck is dropped and Harrison Israels wins the draw. Omaha's top faceoff man. Mavericks trying to break it out up the near wall, but it was sealed by Dylan Moulton. Now they will chip it back out to center ice, and a 2-on-1 developing. Rollwagon with a step in, throws it towards the front of the net. Hutchison tipped it away, and that will keep it away from the man out in front. That was Israels, I believe, as the RedHawks will outlet it to center. Back with Omaha with 4:15 to go in the third. Gave in diagonally across, and it's tipped in by Watkins to the offensive zone. Spencer Cox will grab it and lug forward for Miami. Cross-ice feed finds Michael Quinn, and we get an errant whistle here, and 6 guys on the ice for the RedHawks, and that is a brutal penalty to take at this time in the game.
Yeah, that's just undisciplined. It can't happen. A lot of defeated body language over on the RedHawks bench.
Theodore Forsander is going to go serve it for the RedHawks.
It's been felt like one of those kind of nights for Miami, which is frustrating considering how they came out and started the game. I mean, they looked like, I thought it was one of probably their best periods of the entire season, to be honest, and you only get a goal to show for it, and then everything kind of derails from there. And now with just a little over 4 minutes left in the third period, you take a too many men penalty, and that just can't happen.
Face-off is won by Omaha. Mavericks are 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. Played it across the ice. Lurie had a wide open net, but he fanned on the shot. Pass wasn't in a great area for him. He had to reach at an awkward angle, but couldn't let it loose.
I believe it was Nick Donato that took that face-off.
It's certainly odd for the RedHawks. He's out there on the ice.
He
as
just tried
Omaha stepped in offside.
He just tried to shoot it down the ice, and I mean, we looked at the stat sheet yesterday, and it said that Nick Donato and Spencer Cox had taken face-offs, but yeah, it is Nick Donato looking on it here on this replay.
And he's just holding his stick like a normal skater would. He doesn't have the face-off grip. He was just trying to shoot it down. So just getting the strongest guy on the ice if you're the RedHawks into the face-off dot to try and muscle the puck down.
First time for everything. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Certainly. Face-off win by the Mavericks. And Bremer down the right side will shove it into the offensive zone for Omaha to try and go to work. Left point Gavin. Dishes off for Ludke, walking into the corner. Ludke takes a return feed on the half wall and finds Gavin up top. Now a big drive from Lurie from the right point. That sails way high and will carry him off the glass and out of the zone. 50 seconds gone on the penalty to Miami's bench for too many men, being served by Theodore Forsander. Glenn risks it into the offensive zone, and the RedHawks will take it and clear out. Again, power play has not been a strength, really, for either of these teams, but certainly not for Omaha until this weekend. They've got a goal on the power play on each of these 2 games now. RedHawks pulled the puck free, trying to pass it to the middle to Matt Schipani, but he missed the feed from Colby Ambrosio, and so Miami can't clear. Stang plays it down low, and Israel's trying to run it out front, but couldn't do so. Now a big drive from the far side from Brady Riskin. That ends up wide. Grattan leaves it for Stang, leading goal scorer for the Mavericks. Plays it across the ice. Risk with a shot from the left side, and that ended up wide. 15 seconds to go on the penalty. Cox works it up the left wall and able to bump it just far enough to go down the ice.
If Glenn could hit the net, he'd probably have 2, 3, 4 goals this weekend. He's had some phenomenal chances, including those 2.
Yeah, probably would have had 2 on the power play. Full strength now for Miami as Forsander's back on the ice. Miller's at the top of the right circle right now as the RedHawks have worked it into the offensive zone. Anthony Noreen signaling for him, and the 6th skater comes on. 6th skater is Colby Ambrosio for the RedHawks. 6 on 5 for Miami with 1:42 to go, down 2 goals. Hutchison up top for Michael Quinn. Now it's Waldron from the right circle. Throws it on net, save made by Riedler, and he will hold on. Certainly don't hate that shot if you're Miami, and now you get the stoppage, which kind of lets you reset things following the penalty kill, although the RedHawks are not going to change lines here, and Anthony Noreen is going to keep his timeout for now. Or at least it appears. The officials, I think, are over towards Miami's bench, kind of anticipating a timeout, but no, Anthony Noreen's not going to call it. He's going to wait. 6 skaters remain out. Again, the same 6 that played the last 20 seconds or so for the RedHawks. Face-off is Vitalin's against Israel's, and Vitalin's wins it for Miami, but a brilliant effort to jump up to the point by Tyler Rollwagon, and he will play it down. Ambrosio plays it dangerously across the ice, and RedHawks nearly coughed it up. Best Waldron can do is just shove it in deep. RedHawks do get on it first. 75 seconds remaining in the third. Miami down 2 goals. Cox crossways for Hutchison left side. Throws it out in front. Save made with the pillows, and no one there for the rebound for Miami. Cleared down the ice. Cox will run it down, and it will be icing with 1:02 to go. And now Anthony Noreen paging for an official, it appears. Looks like he wants them to review the clock, I think, but that might just be a gamesmanship tactic to get a free timeout out of it. I don't think the officials are going to do that.
I can't tell. He's holding up the number 1.
He was pointing at something on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but no timeout called still. A good win by Vitalins.
Cleanly up to the right point. Cox through traffic. It's batted down and just wide of the cage on the right side. Omaha clears. We're under a minute to play. Mavericks get fresh bodies on following the icing. Ambrosio steps it into the zone and dumps it in deep. Sullivan tracks it in the far corner. Wrapped back to the near wing and Ambrosio. Up left point, Dylan Moulton slides it across. Back to the near wing, now it's Ambrosio. Moulton left point. Handling. Finds Connor Hutchison. Working it back down low. Ambrosio will let it go by him. RedHawks have got to do something here. They're down 2 goals. 26 seconds left to go. Waldron trying to dig it off the wall. Sullivan also trying to do so. Neither can, and the RedHawks can't hold the zone. 16 seconds remaining. Miami clears the zone. Omaha's with it. They'll just throw it down the ice and take the icing. And with 12 seconds to go, Anthony Noreen's got the whiteboard out. Presume he have to call his timeout at this point if he's going to. But it looks like he's just going to let his players play it out. RedHawks are going to pick to take this on the left side. Anthony Noreen is now going over and talking with Brett Miller. Goalie who's on the bench for Miami. 12 seconds remain. Filion will take the face-off with the RedHawks down 2 goals. He wins it cleanly for Shapani, who throws it in the direction of the net well wide. Now Quinn will laser one on net, and that got stopped by Riedler. 5 seconds to go. Puck up against the Zamboni doors. Filion pulls it free. Nasson with one last try that gets blocked by Slipik, and that will run the timeout here on Saturday night. So after a great start, the RedHawks stumble to the finish line, and they fall for a 6th straight weekend at the hands of Omaha to a sweep now. The RedHawks 0-4 against the Mavericks this season, and now 0-12 to start NCHC play after a 3-1 loss here on Saturday night. Jeff, very similar to what we saw yesterday from the RedHawks. They didn't play a bad game by any means. Shots were even in this one. Miami had plenty of chances to score, hit a couple of posts, but at the end of the day, they made some really, really grave errors. They gave up 2 goals with under a minute to play after playing a really strong period. They gave up a goal with less than a second to go in a period, which is inexcusable in all situations. And again, the RedHawks pay a hefty price for giving those up in another loss here tonight.
Yeah, and honestly, it feels like a little bit of a broken record from up here. I mean, it's hard to watch, you know, these guys put in the kind of effort they put in, especially through the first, you know, even half of this game, and then come out on the wrong end of it, especially, shots 29-29. It's been a minute since we've seen a shot count that high for Miami, and it results in a 3-1 loss, only 1 goal. A really great game by Kevin Riedler nonetheless, and, you know, props to Brett Miller as well. I mean, kept Miami in it for sure. I mean, there were a lot of chances that the Mavericks ended up getting later in that game and even through the second period that probably would have been goals if Brett Miller hadn't been on his game tonight. He was fantastic in the RedHawks net, but yeah, just really another unfortunate weekend. You know, it's 14 straight losses for Miami, and you know, it's a feeling of dejection, I think, a little bit, because you know, when you play hard enough to earn a win and you don't get one, and it happens consistently just because of the kind of talent that these other teams have and the work ethic that they have too, it's frustrating for sure. And you know, you just gotta keep pushing, as Anthony Noreen has said multiple times. You gotta stay focused. It's one day at a time.
Certainly. Well, things won't get easier for the RedHawks. They never do in this league, as Miami will have to head on the road to Lawson Ice Arena to take on the Western Michigan Broncos coming up next weekend. 7 o'clock Eastern start on Friday, 6 p.m. start on Saturday. A Western Michigan team that, by the way, is currently ranked 7th in the country in pairwise overtime winner over North Dakota yesterday. They are pouring it on the Fighting Hawks at the Ralph tonight, 5-1. So that's going to be a tough matchup for the RedHawks headed into next weekend against a longtime rival in Western Michigan. Next time we are on the air for hockey, coming your way at the end of January, the 31st of this month, and February 1st, Friday, Saturday set for the RedHawks as conference foes for the first time, with, headed into the night, first place Arizona State. Sun Devils under Greg Powers having an excellent first season in the NCHC, as Miami will take on the Sun Devils, who they, by the way, did beat in a series here at Cady Arena last year.
An exciting one,
with an overtime win and a tie after coming back on Friday night from down 4-1 to win in overtime. RedHawks will host the Sun Devils as a conference opponent for the first time in program history on January the 31st and February 1st, Friday and Saturday, 2 weeks from now. 7:05 starts on both nights here on Red Hawk Radio. We are back on the air on Tuesday here on Red Hawk Radio, and we'll be across town at Millett Hall. How about Travis Steele and the Miami basketball team? Another win today over the Kent State Golden Flashes, 70-61, overcoming a 9-point halftime deficit to win by 9. And Coach Steele's got his group on a 7-game win streak and a 5-0 start in the MAC. Miami will take on Bowling Green, a team they were picked to finish tied for 6th with in the preseason in the MAC. Looking like Miami's going to certainly exceed that expectation. They will host the Falcons at 7 o'clock with coverage beginning at 6:30 on Tuesday night here from Oxford. Hopefully you can warm up with us on a day that's supposed to be 0 degrees here in Southwest Ohio. So until then, that'll wrap things up for us here from Cady Arena tonight. Again, final score, Omaha 3 and Miami 1. We're next with you for Miami and Arizona State hockey coming up in a couple of weeks. For Jeff Middleton, the rest of our Red Hawk Radio crew, I'm Luke West Poley saying good night from Oxford. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. We'll see you next time.